Welcome to this edition of From the Vault, presented by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Today we'll dust off the videotapes and bring you two Formula Atlantic races from 1990. First up, round 4 from Toronto. The field consisted of two Hall of Famers, Frank Allers from Western Canada and Ron Fellows, who makes a rare start in an open-wheel machine.
Round 3 of the Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series saw 1989 champ Jocko Cunningham win again. Late in the race, Cunningham makes a daring move to push Canadian Claude Bourbonnais into second. Bourbonnais was lucky to keep his car off the wall, kicking debris all over the track. Meanwhile, third-place driver Freddie Remrev hits the debris, crashes spectacularly into the wall. Remrev was conscious, but his day was done. The race was stopped, and Cunningham was declared the winner. A remarkable recovery by Remrev, not slowed by his crash at all. He has qualified second fastest, and he talked about his injuries in Montreal.
About 3 to 5 broken ribs, and problem with my shoulder, went in and spread my clavicle apart.
What did that feel like?
It hurt bad. It hurt real bad.
Another man who was hurt by the accident was teammate Claude Bourbonnais. Jocko Cunningham's pass happened seconds before the race was declared official. Claude lost valuable championship points. Claude's arch rival in the championship points race is American Brian Till, who has made his intentions obvious by capturing the pole here in Toronto. Canada's hopes also ride with Toronto native Ron Fellows, a champion in Trans Am and Players Limited GM Motorsport. He is here to win a Formula Atlantic race today.
Hello everyone and welcome to Toronto. It's Molson Indy weekend. The excitement is high here, and we are joining you for the Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series Round 4. I'm Jerry Dobson, and joining me once again is Paul Chater. Paul, we've got a bit of a rivalry developing here. Claude Bourbonnais of Canada and Brian Till, one of the Americans.
In fact, Brian Till has qualified on the pole position. He has an interesting decal on his rear bodywork. It's Claude Bourbonnais' car number turned upside down inside a red circle with a stroke through it. We're not sure whether this is a friendly rivalry, but one thing for sure, you don't have that kind of a battle on this track. It's a temporary circuit lined in concrete walls. You cannot make a mistake here and expect to get away with it.
And one of the drivers already made a mistake earlier today, Jason Holhouse, a Toronto driver. He had an excellent qualifying time, but he also had a bit of a problem.
It just snapped over and touched the wall, and then I did the wrong thing right away, is that instead of looking down the track where I wanted to go, I turned back and looked at the wall, you know, and said a few bad words, and then the car went right back into there again. You know, you look where you want to go, and that's where I ended up going back into the wall again.
Well, with all of that out of the way, Jason seems to know where he wants to go, straight for the checkered flag, and starting fourth, he is certainly in for a big fight today. As final preparations are made in the grid, let's take a look at today's starting order.
Pole sitter in his Swift is American Brian Till. He wants a win, and he has a good start as our Sunoco Gold fastest qualifier.
And beside Brian is Pottstown, Pennsylvania's Freddie Remrev, who has qualified as Reynard's second fastest.
Starting in the second row, which is farther back than usual, Claude Bourbonnais places his Reynard in the third starting position.
Another Canadian rounds out the second row, Toronto's Jason Holhouse.
Qualifying fifth, Johnny O'Connell, the California native, has taken over the Reynard that Christian Vandal had in Montreal.
Our sixth fastest qualifier, a long way from Coquitlam, BC, last year's Canadian champ, Frank Allers.
On the fourth row, the Swift of Robert Canida, who is fifth in overall points this season.
Row 5, the rookie Wayne Serbo is in his bright orange number 0.
Row 6 is where Ron Fellows finds his Lanford Racing Reynard. He knows his course and is set for a good showing.
The field is set. We're just about ready to go. The standing start here at Exhibition Place. The red light waiting for the green. And there it is. And away we go. We are off. We've got one car stalled in the track. The others have to get around him. And there we have an in-car camera of Ron Fellows.
Charging into the first turn. Ron very wide, trying to hang on to this car. He was off his line, heavily under braking as the leaders streamed down the Lakeshore Boulevard.
Brian Till in front, Claude Bourbonnais right behind him, Freddie Remrev and Jason Holhouse. They are really close together, the top four.
Look at this pack down the Lakeshore Boulevard. They'll get sorted out under heavy braking into the tight right-hand hairpin. Brian Till's car is kicking up a lot of sparks as they go through the hairpin up the hill into the exhibition grounds.
What a battle here. Brian Till, and he's being chased by Claude Bourbonnais, who's also chasing him in the point standing, so this is a very important race for the overall series.
And we've got a car into the wall already. That's Ron Fellows, car number 11, the local Toronto driver. Let's have another look at this accident. There's Fellows. He just had nowhere to go. There was a car running much slower in front of him as he came through the hairpin. He ran up the back of the car, did some serious damage. It was Johnny O'Connell who he ran into. Look at this. He's broken his suspension, both on the rear and the front of the car on the left-hand side, and the wing is askew. That's the end of Ron's race.
Back to the front, there's Brian Till. Oh, and he spins into the corner. Bourbonnais behind him, and there goes Bourbonnais, and Till is stopped on the track.
He missed his braking point or locked his wheels up under braking into the corner. It spun into the wall. There's a red flag. They're going to stop this race.
So a very unhappy Ron Fellows right there. He's out of the race, and we're going to have to start it all over as they push the car of Brian Till off the track to get going here again. The question is, will he make the restart? The Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series is brought to you in part by Sunoco Gold and by Yokohama Performance Radial Tire. We'll be back with the restart.
From the Vault is brought to you by M-Zone, premium auto care proudly owned and made by Canadians. By Recap Recovery Drink. By WeatherTech. For the perfect fit and ultimate in-vehicle protection, nothing protects like WeatherTech. Order online at weathertech.ca. And by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Visit our website for hall merchandise.
Brian Till will not start, neither will Ron Fellows. There's his car there. It's just a wreck right now, and this is why Johnny O'Connell slows right down. Fellows has nowhere to go, and he touches him a couple of times, and that's basically it. So Ron Fellows' day is done here this afternoon. Let's go down to the pits now and check in with Paul Chater.
Ron, that's a real heartbreaker that's early in the race. What happened?
Well, it got a little crazy down at the hairpin. I lost use of the clutch, and I didn't want to come to a stop down at the hairpin. I tried to weave my way through, and my wheels got mixed up with Johnny O'Connell. I ended up climbing over top of him, and that was the end of it. Didn't make it.
How badly damaged is the car?
Oh, yeah, left front corner, left rear, and nose, rear wing. It's kind of a mess.
The cars are back out onto the track for the restart. Claude Bourbonnais will have the lead. Brian Till, the original pole sitter, is out.
I began to slow down waiting for the pace car, and I went into one, and I went for the clutch to do my downshift, and something snapped down there in the footwell, and the clutch pedal fell all the way to the floor. And I went for the brake to slow the car down, and when I mashed on the brake, something broke. I don't know if it's the rods on the actuator rods on the master cylinders or what, but it snapped too. Both of them fell to the floor, and I was left at 80 miles an hour in turn one with no brake. So I'm just glad it didn't happen at speed.
And another guy who is glad it happened is Claude Bourbonnais, now in the lead, and second place driver Freddie Remrev, and in third place Jason Holhouse. They won't mind that one bit either.
Bourbonnais, who had terrible luck in Montreal, losing first just seconds before the end of the race, now gets some good luck, and he's got Brian Till watching from the pits.
Claude Bourbonnais in front here. Brian Till will have to settle for just watching this one, and there right in behind is Freddie Remrev, right behind Bourbonnais.
Look at this battle for third place. Jason Holhouse in third with Frank Ehlers behind him in car number 86. Frank is driving a 5-year-old Ralt. It's amazing that he can even keep up. Robert Kanita in car number 37 is directly behind him.
So a really good battle happening right in there. Behind the two leaders, there goes Bourbonnais, there goes Remrev, and here come the others.
There's Frank Ehlers in car number 86. Let's go inside with the BC driver now as he chases down a driver from Ontario, Jason Holhouse.
Frank Ehlers trying to catch Holhouse. A bit of room there, so he's got some time to make up here if he wants to get Holhouse. You can see him way off in the distance, and he is catching him here.
This is a good place to pass going into this right-hander. Then there's a very quick, fast left-hander before the kink out onto the start-finish straight. Look at Frank working that wheel on this bumpy circuit, up through the gears.
Frank Ehlers, you're looking at his perspective as he tries to chase down Jason Holhouse.
Down the front straightaway into turn one. That's Holhouse directly in front of him. Look at all the skid marks from heavy braking from drivers who have left their braking just a little bit too late. Now out onto the Lakeshore Boulevard, past Ontario Place, next to the old CNE Stadium.
And here's where they really go flat out. This is the place to pick up speed.
It's also the best place on the circuit to pass in the braking zone at the end of this long straight. There's Frank Ehlers, number 86, and using this braking zone in the passing zone, number 12, Mark Singer, locks up all four wheels, just barely hangs onto the car, but manages to pass Steve Smith and pick up fifth place.
So just like you said, a great place to pass. A little bit dangerous coming off the Lakeshore straight, but a great place to pass, and he did just that.
And Wayne Serbo has picked up another spot. He's ahead of Steve Smith now. There's Steve, car number 91, has slipped back into 6th. There's Brian Till watching from the pit lane.
Meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues. Claude Bourbonnais, car number 4, right behind him. His teammate, Freddie Remrev, on that tight turn at the end of the Lakeshore straightaway.
There goes 5th place, Bob Canita passing the number 86 of Frank Allers, and he almost didn't make it. He locked up all 4 tires in that braking zone. Now with Frank Allers in car 86 as he sets off to get his position back from Bob Canita.
And look at how close they come to those concrete walls on some of these turns. Frank Allers, look at that, how close they come. Allers right behind Canita.
Frank is racing for the Canadian Championship, which he won last year, so this race is very important to him.
And there another view of them as Canita really does have some problems on the braking. He almost locked them up there.
Canita, an orthopedic surgeon, driving very smoothly despite the fact that he almost threw the car into the wall when he passed Frank Allers.
Good look from overhead, and there are the leaders going through your screen there. That was Bourbonnais. There he is again, car number 4, right behind him, Freddie Remrev. Remrev is all over him. He's not intimidated by what happened to him last time around in Montreal with that horrible crash. He's come right back here, very aggressive.
Remrev having a look on the outside. No, he decides not to do it. All he's really doing at that point is moving into the mirror view that Bourbonnais has of the track behind him, just to let Claude know that he's sitting there.
Bourbonnais and Remrev, very good friends, but Bourbonnais, truly one of Canada's young racing stars, is trying to run out front to hopefully gain the attention of future sponsors here.
Formula 3000 is where I'm trying to go, and it's very expensive. It's about $1.5 million for a season to go there, and I do not have that money, and I'm trying to find some sponsorship to go over there because I want to go Formula 1, and Formula 3000 is the step to go. It's the series to go if you're going to go in Formula 1.
How do you get the money?
You work hard and you hope for the best.
Well, Claude Bourbonnais is getting the best today as he leads this race. Now look at Freddie Remrev frantically wiping his visor. That's often an indication that the car in front is throwing some fluid back, and if it's oil, that could spell disaster for Claude Bourbonnais.
So is this the forebearing of some problems to come here with Claude Bourbonnais? We don't know yet. Bourbonnais still in front, Remrev right behind him, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
And the battle for 3rd continues between young Jason Holhouse, car number 49, and 42-year-old Bob Canita in his number 37 Swift. Jason's brush with the wall in practice is obviously not slowing him down.
Car number 37, there is Canada right there, and in behind him, there comes Frank Allers.
The Comprep team giving their 2 cars who are running 1st and 2nd, Claude Bourbonnais, number 4, and his teammate and friend, Freddie Remrev, running in 2nd.
But bad news for Jason Holhouse. He was 3rd here just a few minutes ago, but looks like a mechanical problem will end his day. Bourbonnais continues to lead. We'll be right back. There is your leader, Claude Bourbonnais, right in behind him, Freddie Remrev.
Bourbonnais in the red car, car number 4, and his teammate, Freddie Remrev, staying right with him all the way around this circuit. The 2 drivers driving identical machines. They prepare them together, they test them together.
Right in behind, the yellow car of Steve Smith and the orange car of Wayne Serbo. That's the battle for 6th, and right in behind them is Russell Newman, and there's a good move there.
Serbo missed his braking point badly, locked up all 4 tires, and that has allowed Russell Newman to pull up right under his rear wing and challenge him.
So that is Wayne Serbo in the orange car. Right in behind him, Newman. It looks like it could be the 2 leaders, but it's not. This is the battle for 5th and 6th.
And Russell Newman, a 48-year-old veteran. Look at this. Steve Smith, car number 91, slowed dramatically. He just lost 2 places right there. He must have missed a shift in that corner. He obviously made a serious mistake or has a mechanical problem. And the 2 cars of Newman and Serbo just blew right by him.
So Steve Smith dragging there. Now we're back into the front. There's Claude Bourbonnais, car number 4. Right behind him, Freddie Remrev. So they have a battle going all their own while the other battles take place well in behind. Good battle here.
2 young Chargers, one of Canada's best hopes, one of America's best hopes. There's Claude Bourbonnais, car number 4, and we've got a car that has bounced off the wall, seriously damaged. That's number 12, New York native Mark Singer.
So he looks like his day is finished, judging by the look of that car. The day is not done for Claude Bourbonnais, but look at Remrev right behind him there.
This is unusual to see teammates having such a fierce battle. The team manager has to be worried when he watches them go by the pit lane, hoping that one of the drivers doesn't make a mistake and take both cars out. There's Mark Singer's car parked off the edge. It's not in a dangerous position, so therefore they probably won't be bringing out the pace car. He's well off the line of that corner.
Claude Bourbonnais leading his teammate, Freddie Remrev. A very tight course here in places. Give an inch, take an inch, but you got to be careful. One small mistake and your day can be over.
These cars are so equal. The chassis are identical. The 1600cc Toyota motors are identical. The cars only weigh about 1,100 pounds. They have ground effects. They're very fast. So the real difference here is in driver talent, and Claude Bourbonnais may have just blown it right there. He locked his brakes up and allowed Freddie Remrev to sneak through on the inside.
So down the Lakeshore Straight they go, and it is now Freddie Remrev in the lead. We have a new leader. Freddie Remrev, car number 27, has passed Claude Bourbonnais here.
Bourbonnais is an attacker. He's not going to give up. He has a look on the outside coming off the Lakeshore Boulevard up into the C&E grounds. He doesn't attempt to pass, but he does pull up tight onto Remrev.
The tables have turned here. It is now Claude Bourbonnais chasing and Freddie Remrev in the lead. As they go by that car on the track again, and take another look at this path.
Look at this. That right front tire on Bourbonnais' car is locked up. He really missed his braking zone. That caused him to swing wide in the corner. Freddie Remrev, being alert, took advantage of the situation, dove to the inside of turn one, and made a very clean pass on Claude Bourbonnais. That's an alert piece of driving.
And Bourbonnais is also very fortunate. There was lots of room on that corner, or he could have been into the wall. Freddie Remrev leads, Claude Bourbonnais right in behind him.
For teammates, these two guys are driving very aggressively. You have to wonder if they're operating under any team orders. It certainly doesn't look like it.
It's not to put each other off. And that's the only rules they have. So they're racing. They're having a good time, doing a good job. So I'm very pleased with them. But they have only one order, so we'll see if they pay attention.
And they must have done a remarkable job on Remrev's car after that crash in Montreal. He's out front and doing very well, stretching out his lead over Claude Bourbonnais. But you know, they're running cars that are prepared identical. They run on the same fuel that you use in an everyday car.
Sunoco has been, of course, dedicated to motorsport in Canada for the last 2 or 3 years, and we're very interested in the promotion of motorsport. We see it as being tied in very directly to our highest performance image of our Sunoco Gold highest octane fuels. The Formula Atlantic Series, we feel, epitomizes this performance image, in that they are serious, purpose-built race cars, very fast, very competitive series, and we also see it as a step up for our drivers who compete in other series and are champions in that, as a stepping stone to further their careers.
Now a look at the battle for fifth. Frank Allers is trying to hold off Wayne Serbo in the orange car. This is a tight battle here, and in behind is Russell Newman.
Canadian Frank Allers doing a remarkable job holding off Servo. When you consider that Allers' car is practically an antique in racing terms. It's a 5-year-old car. But maybe Servo's taking advantage of that now. Down the Lakeshore Boulevard, he pulls out of the draft and goes right by Frank Allers. Newman having a look, whether he's going to try it under braking or not, into the hairpin, and he's also going to take advantage. And Servo almost missed it completely. He locked his brakes. Let's now go inside with Frank Allers as he watches both Servo and Newman pull away from him.
So some great moves there on that tight turn coming out of the Lakeshore Straight. Marvelous driving there by Wayne Servo. Back to the front. There's Freddie Remrev and Claude Bourbonnais.
Big slide from Freddie Remrev and a puff of smoke out the exhaust pipe as he came up the hill. We should watch carefully to see if this car is going to last. Claude Bourbonnais definitely must have seen that puff of smoke, but he's staying a little farther behind just in case Remrev is throwing back some oil.
Indeed, there is a gap there right now. Freddie Remrev in front. Bourbonnais has backed off a little bit as he waits to see what happens here. Meanwhile, back in fourth position, there's the orange car, Wayne Serbo, the rookie, and he's being chased by that former IndyCar owner, Russell Newman. So this is a pretty good battle here, shaping up for fourth.
Favorite passing zone at the end of the Lakeshore Boulevard. There's Newman in the white car, Serbo in the orangey red car out front. Newman having a look, pulling out of the draft. He's going to try it under braking. hard onto the brakes, and he just can't do it. Serbo chopped him off as they head up the hill into the exhibition grounds.
So Serbo manages to hang on there. A great place to pass, but no dice on that one. Serbo hangs on, and here's the same corner here, and Bourbonnais can't quite get by Remrev. Remrev holds on to the lead.
Bourbonnais, though, tried to pass on the outside going into that corner. It's a strange maneuver, unless he was just trying to unsettle Freddie Remrev, but it didn't work.
So Bourbonnais running out of time. Will he have another chance to pass Freddie Remrev? Remrev in front, Bourbonnais right there with him.
Remrev obviously determined. He's driving very smoothly. He's not sliding the car around at all, but Bourbonnais has pulled up. He's closed the gap again.
What a battle between Remrev in the white car there and Bourbonnais in the red car in second place. Freddie Remrev continues to lead. We'll be back with a finish in just a moment. Your leader, Freddie Remrev, chased by Claude Bourbonnais, but Remrev has stretched it out.
He took over the lead on the 22nd lap, and he hasn't looked back at all. And Claude Bourbonnais is now stuck behind a slower car. That's Steve Smith in car number 91. Bourbonnais moves to the inside, gets by him cleanly, but Freddie Remrev way out ahead as he heads for the checkered flag.
So Freddie Remrev takes advantage there, and he wins today's race. A marvelous performance by him. His father loves every bit of it as well. A remarkable finish after that terrible accident in Montreal in the last race. Freddie Remrev comes back for the win. A great race for him today, passing Claude Bourbonnais, who finished in second. Robert Canada finishes in third place. Other Canadians, Frank Allers finished seventh, and Jason Holthouse finished in 10th position. But the day belongs to that man right there, Freddie Remrev. He also wins the Yokohama's Yokomotion Drive of the race. And here's what did it for him. Claude Bourbonnais leading the race, locked up on the braking there, and it was easy for Freddie Remrev to get by, and that's what made the difference.
I was waiting for an opportunity. I didn't want to be stupid and try to, go in and unexpectedly and take both my teammate out. So actually what I did was just waited and kind of hounded Claude for a while, and he got a little bit cocked coming in, and I just tucked in under him and started to drive.
The crowd loved every minute of it, and despite the result, Bourbonnais is a pretty happy guy. With the race today, he takes the overall points lead. And so round 4 here of the Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series goes to Freddie Remrev, but a pretty good race between him and his teammate Claude Bourbonnais.
That's what made it so interesting, Jerry. They didn't act like teammates. Bourbonnais made one mistake at the end of the pit straight. Remrev took advantage of it. It was a good race.
Okay. 3 cheers then for Freddie Remrev. And so for Paul Chater, this is Jerry Dobson saying so long from Toronto. The Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series is brought to you in part by Sunoco Gold and Yokohama Performance Radial Tires.
There's a racer's name, Freddie Remrev. Up next, we stay Atlantic racing, still in 1990, but we head to the streets of Vancouver.
Claude Bourbonnais, one of Canada's best drivers, reflects on what has been a season of frustration. Round 3, Montreal, Bourbonnais gets passed by defending champion Jocko Cunningham on the last lap. Round 4, Toronto, Bourbonnais is passed by teammate Freddie Remrev, who capitalizes on one of Bourbonnais' few mistakes. Round 6, Paul Riviere, Bourbonnais in the lead, has problems and loses the lead to Brian Till. A man whose season has been one of triumph is Western champ Mark Dismore. Round 2, the Calgary Oval. Mark makes an incredible move to get around Jovi Marcello for the win. Dismore also prevailed a day earlier on the Calgary Road Course in round 1. In Westwood, Mark Dismore made it 6 wins in 6 appearances, totally dominating the Western Division. Welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia and the Molson Indy Weekend. Hello everyone, Jerry Dobson here along with Paul Chater. We're here to bring you the Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series. Mark Dismore and Claude Bourbonnais in the front row, but the big story, Paul, is the track, specifically corner number 1. A lot of problems there.
In fact, they have changed the track overnight. The organizers removed more than 200 feet from the end of the pit wall to make the turn into turn 1 a little more gradual and a lot less dangerous. As a result, the time it took to change the track has cut down on the qualifying sessions. The drivers have not spent too much time on this track, so what happens in the race is anybody's guess.
This is the course as it was originally planned. 7 corners through the streets of Vancouver. Corner number 1, originally a very slow, tight corner, was made into a faster, more gradual turn.
Early this morning, responding to the concerns of many of the drivers here, including the Indy drivers, major changes were made to corner 1. Under the supervision of Wally Dallenbach, the pit wall was moved back, making corner 1 much less hazardous.
But these changes did hurt many of the Atlantic drivers who fell victim to the change at corner number 1 during qualifying, like Bill Pratt and Jovi Marcello.
It's my fault that we crashed. They changed the course. Was a bit still green in that area, not enough traction, and I should have just been more careful.
Change to turn 1 is a lot nicer, a lot quicker. It's actually probably a little bit safer.
Before it was in second gear, mid-speed second gear, and now it's quite a bit fast in third gear. So we're coming at the end of the straight line about 400 or 500 RPM faster than yesterday.
Most of the drivers managed to repair their cars and are lining up for the start. And our Sunoco Gold fastest qualifier is Mark Dismore, who captured the first pole on this new track. Mark brings his undefeated record into the Vancouver race, and we asked Mark about his strategy.
So I just try to make a good start, try to get a clear racetrack in front of me and go. You know, if Claude jumps me on the start, I mean, I'm sure he'll make it a real headache for me to get around him. You know, I mean, he knows how to use up the racetrack.
Claude Bourbonnais, who is known for his great starts, will share the front row with Dismore.
He's a good competitor. He's a good driver. Mark's a good driver. They have a good car, a good team. For sure, he'll be fast. That's for sure.
Another fast driver is Canadian Frank Allers, who won the Canadian Championship earlier this year. He will start third here today.
Trevor Siebert, who only races Atlantic cars part-time, has really enjoyed this Vancouver course, qualifying 4th.
Freddie Remrev, Claude Bourbonnais' teammate, will start his Reynard from the 3rd row.
Beside Freddie is the veteran Sandy Dells from Vista, California. His Swift has 6th fastest.
Row 4 has Canadian Christian Vandal, who finished 3rd in Trois-Rivières and will look to the podium again.
Row 6 has Mark Dismore's teammate Tommy Hunter Jr. and his number 10 Swift.
Meanwhile, row number 8 has another Canadian, Bob McGregor from Langley, BC, a local fellow.
Row 10 has Vancouver native Derek Ross, who will start his Swift from 20th.
Now in row 12, we've got 2 drivers who crashed in qualifying and are back, but at the back of the pack. The Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series is brought to you by Yokohama Performance Radials and by Sunoco Gold. We'll be back. Cars are settling in for the standing start, and we've got to watch that front row. Dismore and Bourbonnais will race here to see who is best in Atlantic racing.
Dangerous standing starts. The grid is being cleared. The red light is on. They're waiting for a green. Engines revving. There's a green light, and this race is underway, and Mark Dismore in car number 20, the white one, jumps into an immediate lead. And Claude Bourbonnais, who was on the front row, has really blown this. He's lost at least 2 places going into turn 1.
Amazing move there, and Bourbonnais, a real problem. Dismore leads as Allers and Siebert fight for that 2nd place position. Both Allers and Siebert raced on this track earlier in a Players Limited GM Motorsport Camaro race.
There's Mark Dismore out front. And behind him, Frank Allers, Trevor Siebert, and Claude Bourbonnais way back and forth. It's unusual to see Claude blow a start that badly unless he had a mechanical problem.
Through the streets of Vancouver, the 2nd place car of Trevor Siebert is, well, there he is right there. He rolls to a stop, so a problem for him right away, and he was running so well.
Big disappointment for Trevor Siebert, but Dismore begins to stretch his lead over Allers, Bourbonnais, Remrev, Dells, Pete Hidalgo, and Christian Vandal.
And the 2nd place battle with 2 Canadians, Allers, followed by Bourbonnais.
Mark Dismore working on his perfect season. He's won every race he started this year and seems well on his way to yet another victory, and it's not even the end of the first lap.
And the Canadian Frank Allers is now in 2nd place, and he is followed by Bourbonnais, Remrev, Dells, Hidalgo, and Vandal, and Jovi Marcello.
End of lap 1 down the front straightaway, and Dismore really stretching his lead over the rest of the pack that's fighting for 2nd place.
There's Bourbonnais running in 3rd. That was the red car number 72, and he's trying to fight off Remrev, car number 27.
There's 2nd place, 86, Frank Allers, and there's Claude Bourbonnais, number 72, trying to move on the inside of Allers down the straightaway, heading into the slowest part of the course. Bourbonnais on the inside, and he's outbraked Frank Allers and taken over 2nd place.
So Bourbonnais grabs 2nd spot, and now we are in car with Frank Allers in 3rd, chasing Bourbonnais. You see him up in front. None of these drivers have had much time on the track. The course design, as we mentioned earlier, changed this morning. So that could cause some problems. They've only had one qualifying session.
And look at this, from the sunlight, bright sunlight, into the dark under this tunnel next to BC Place, and then back out into the sunlight again. That's really tough on a driver.
It must be extremely tough. It must almost blind them as they come in and out of that. So they have to be extremely careful through there. In car with Frank Allers. Bourbonnais seems to be well in front of him now. He's moved out.
Allers at a definite disadvantage. He's driving an older car. The engines are the same, but the chassis are different. And there goes Freddie Remrev under braking. Number 27, Freddie Remrev, has now moved into third place and pushed Allers back to fourth.
Back to the leader. That's Mark Dismore all alone. Mark Dismore is a very intelligent driver, and when he gets the lead, he knows how to keep it. So he could be very tough here today.
And there goes Pete Hidalgo in the white car. Number 6 passing Sandy Dells, number 70 in the black car, to take over 5th place.
And there goes Dells back again. So amazing passing going on around here. And there's Dells getting by Hidalgo for 5th spot. 4 cars all in a row there.
Look at this. Christian Vandal and Jovi Marcello are right behind this battle going on between Hidalgo and Sandy Dells.
Now Freddie Remrev and Frank Allers have managed to get through. There they are there. And there's the pack of 4 right in behind, continuing to be led by Dells.
Really tight race as Mark Dismore continues to lead, but the battle really is for 4th place. Allers, who is running in 4th, has done an excellent job this year in an uncompetitive older Ralt to stay among the leaders and winning the Players' Cup as the top Canadian finisher. And we got a car to the wall. That's Pete Hidalgo.
Pete Hidalgo just lost it right there. He's trying to get himself turned around, but he's lost his rear wing. And Vandal and the rest of the field, they were lucky to get through all of that.
Well, Hidalgo's got the car turned around. He kept the engine running. He'll be back in it, but he's right out of it without a rear wing. We can see how he did it here. Had the brakes on too hard, lost the car, and just skidded straight into the wall. And Vandal and Marcello lucky to get through. Look, Marcello almost collects Hidalgo's rear wing.
And there's Pate right there. That crash was a disaster for him. It drops him back to the very back of the pack. But the man of the day right now, car number 20, that's Mark Dismore, and he is doing a tremendous job here in this part of the race.
Now let's have a replay here of a crash involving Lee Shepherdson in number 11. Lost it under braking in front of Pete Facetta, number 15. They were fighting for 10th place. The cars came together, and we got a traffic jam on the escape road.
Okay, back to the race now for 4th place. The veteran car number 70, Sandy Dells, is chasing car number 86. That's Frank Allers. Sandy may have a faster car, but who knows here today with this track being changed.
There goes Sandy looking up the inside, going into turn 1. And he's got Frank Allers, passes him going into turn 1.
So Sandy Dells takes over 4th, and he will start to work on Freddie Remrev, who's ahead in 3rd place. And now we are in car with Frank Allers in 5th, trying to chase down Sandy Dells up in front of him.
Down Pacific Boulevard, the fastest portion of the course, leading into the slowest part, and Allers moves to the inside of Sandy Dells and passes him at the hairpin. This is incredible considering that Allers is driving an 8-year-old car.
A lot of passing here today, and now we go to Claude Bourbonnais, car number 72. He's alone in 2nd place, and he's trying to hunt for the leader, Mark Dismore. And he would really love a win here today to salvage what's been a very frustrating season for him.
There's Frank Allers, number 86, Sandy Dells right behind him. Christian Vandal and his Reynard has now joined the battle. We've got 3 cars fighting it out.
Well, Vandal, he finished 3rd at Trois-Rivières in his Sunoco Reynard, and he is starting to push for 5th place.
And he's pulling to the inside. Look at this. Oh, and he's missed the corner completely. He passed Sandy Dells. He got on the brake, slid the car sideways, collected Frank Allers. Look at what he's done to Allers' rear wing. That's really going to ruin Frank's race now.
Oh, boy, and so Vandal, his car sits, well, it's stopped, dead stop there in the track. The yellow will come out for this, and they'll have to get that car out of the way there.
There's Vandal on the left there, trying to outbrake 2 cars going into one corner. He's so far off his line, he can't do it. He gets on the brakes, the rear wheels lock up, he slides sideways, hits Frank Allers, runs Allers into the tire wall, and Sandy Dells goes by both of them. Now on board with Allers, unless he was looking in his mirrors, this probably came as a complete surprise. He gets thrown sideways, he corrects very well, and he keeps the car running and gets right back in it.
And so that will bring out a full course yellow and the pace car, and it will give the crew of Frank Allers some time to work on reattaching that rear wing. And it's also good news for Bourbonnais because it will bunch up the field as he tries to chase down Mark Dismore, who leads here. Bourbonnais 2nd, Freddie Remrev is 3rd. Crash involving Christian Vandal and Frank Allers has the track under yellow.
What the yellow does is bunch the field back up and eliminates Dismore's lead. He worked so hard to stretch it over Bourbonnais, now he's got to do it all again.
But great work by the crew of Frank Allers as they got his car back together. There he is. He will return.
He's lost a lot of the downforce in the back end of the car, so he's not going to be anywhere near as quick as he was. We just hope to finish now.
So with that yellow, we have a very different race. There is no gap between the leader, Dismore, and second place, Bourbonnais, right there.
And there's the green flag. Mark Dismore, number 20, has to gain that lead back that he worked so hard to build up. And right behind him, number 72, Claude Bourbonnais in second place now.
Both Dismore and Bourbonnais have nothing but respect for each other, but they've both got something to prove here. Each one of them wants to win very badly.
Swift versus Reynard, west versus east. This should be a great battle. What will make it even more interesting is that neither driver has spent much time on this new track.
Yes, indeed. That's one thing we can't overlook. This new track here, they only had one qualifying session, so they have to be very careful, but they don't want to be too careful. Otherwise, mistakes can happen. But anyway, Dismore in the lead. There's Bourbonnais right behind him.
This is their only meeting of 1990. It's important for each of them to have the final bragging rights at this final race. The prize money doesn't hurt too much either.
And Dismore seems to be stretching it out just a little bit. His number 20 there, that Swift, that's Bourbonnais you're watching right now, but that Swift of Dismore had a great season, and he's also had 3 wins here.
In car now with number 86, Frank Allers, who's back into the action after his crew reattached his rear wing. He's in 18th place. Heading down the straightaway here, a twisty part of the circuit. It's also very fast coming into this 90-degree right-hander. He picks up 1 spot going by number 92, Derek Ross, under braking. Then immediately past number 24, Greg Mandrusiak. Frank Allers is getting himself well back into this race, but has he got enough time left? He's in 16th now, and he's pursuing John Wink, who's running in 15th.
Frank Allers chasing John Wink. Frank is another driver who has entered his Camaro in the Players Limited GM Motorsport Series. So he gets twice as much track time in terms of qualifying, so that's got to be an advantage for him.
Number 27, Freddie Remrev in 3rd, fighting off Californian Sandy Dells. Jovi Marcello waits behind both of those guys in 5th place.
Now Freddie Remrev there has some traffic he's got to handle here. He's stuck in behind the car of Pete Fossetta. That's the green number 15. Remrev wants to get by, but it's a narrow track, and there he goes. Can he get by him? Looks like he does, so he's going to, yes indeed, he will lap Fossetta there, and that gets Sandy Dells stuck in behind him. So a good move there by Freddie Remrev.
Brilliant move by Freddie Remrev. He has really snookered Sandy Dells, who's still stuck behind Fossetta, and that will allow Remrev to stretch out his lead a little bit.
And what it also does is it slows Dells down enough to allow Jovi Marcello to catch up. And oh, there we've got a spin right now. That's Marcello making contact with Dells, and he spins out and hits the wall.
Marcello gets going again, and he spins the car and collects number 42, Scott Gibson. Marcello just a little bit too enthusiastic to get back into the battle here. Let's have another look at it. There's Marcello in the white car. He tries to pass Sandy Dells. Dells moves right over on him. He jams on the brakes, he gets the wheels all locked up, spins the car backwards. Meanwhile, Sandy Dells in the black car continues on. Jovi just taps the wing into the wall, but enough to do some serious damage that car is going to handle pretty badly.
Boy, Sandy Dells was really fortunate there not to get involved in that, so he keeps going, and he also loses Marcello as a pursuer, and he holds on to 4th place. Very important for Sandy Dells.
Dells beginning to stretch over number 27, Freddie Remrev, who ran into the wall, and there's back to the leader now, number 20, Mark Dismore.
Mark Dismore has stretched his lead just a little bit, I think, over Bourbonnais. Dismore has won the Western Championship. He wants to keep that unbeaten string alive. He might be approaching a little bit of traffic here, however. You can see some cars up ahead of him, so he'll have maybe his hands full trying to get by some of those back markers.
And a new 4th place car, number 2, Joe Spazzato, has moved past Sandy Dells black, number 70. They're coming into the hairpin. There's Spazzato, number 2, and he's got his brakes locked up. He missed the corner. He's off on the escape road.
And so with that mistake by Spazzato, Dells grabs 4th back again. Buckingham and Hunter will continue to chase him. Dells has had to fight everybody off today.
He's had to work very hard to hang on to 4th place. Now the fight for 5th and 6th, Michael Buckingham, and number 10, Tommy Hunter Jr.
A good race going on there for 5th and 6th. That is Buckingham in the front. Back to the lead. Oh, there was Dismore losing the lead momentarily to Bourbonnais, who tried to get by, but he couldn't get by, and Dismore retakes the lead again. A real gamble there by Bourbonnais.
Bourbonnais has managed to close up on Dismore and has shown incredible car control. He's just throwing that Reynard around the track. Let's have another look at it. There's Dismore in the white number 20, the second car in the picture on the right-hand side. There's Bourbonnais in the red, number 72. He tries to get a car through a very small hole. I don't know how he did that. He only had an inch to spare on either side, but it slowed him down enough to allow Dismore to retake the lead.
Boy, it didn't look like there was enough room there at all, so Dismore continues to lead and Bourbonnais continues to press him.
Dismore's lead, however, has evaporated rather quickly. I wonder if Mark's experiencing some difficulty or whether Bourbonnais has really turned up the wick.
And on the front straight, there's Dismore lapping Jovi Marcello, and Bourbonnais right in behind Marcello, so he's stuck there maybe.
That's going to hamper Bourbonnais' speed down this very fast straightaway.
There, Bourbonnais does get by Marcello as well, so it is Dismore there, followed by Bourbonnais in the red car.
Claude is really pushing hard, trying to catch Dismore. Dismore smokes his brakes a little, and he's backwards, right in the middle of the hairpin. Dismore overcooked it in the turn. He's got the car straightened around, but he's going to have to use the escape road. He doesn't know which direction to go now to get the car straightened around. Meanwhile, the field is streaming by. He's trying to find first gear. Has he stalled the car or not? He can't seem to get it running. Now he's got it into first gear. The marshals are waving the flags, and he's back into the battle.
Oh, man, what a problem for Mark Dismore. He loses just about everything here. His brakes are the first thing to go, and it's all over.
He cut into the corner too tightly. He actually tagged the wall on the inside. You can see it did some damage to his wing. That spun him around. Bourbonnais in the red car, number 72, went around the outside of him, and there's Claude Bourbonnais.
Claude Bourbonnais, the new leader, finally gets some good luck for a change. Mark Dismore, who led every lap until that accident hit the wall, he's through for the day. But a great race now for Claude Bourbonnais.
There's Mark Dismore, number 20. He's pulling his gloves off. He's obviously angry with himself. He's dashing across the track. He's done for the day.
So Dismore finished. Bourbonnais now in car number 72. It's his race to win here this afternoon. Claude Bourbonnais of Ile-Perrot, Quebec. He led in Montreal. He led in Toronto. He led in Trois-Rivières. He never got a win.
There's Freddie Remrev in number 27, Bourbonnais' teammate. He's well behind in second place. Freddie now trying to pass Frank Allers to get another lap on him. Freddie won the Toronto Indy and is running well today, but hardly threatens Bourbonnais at this point.
There goes Freddie Remrev, car number 27. Oh, he's braking problem too.
He just barely made it through that corner. He was way off his line. He did manage to scrabble through and hang on to the car.
Freddie Remrev now, he seems to be in control, but everybody's having problems with that hairpin turn here in Vancouver. So a check of the leaderboard. Claude Bourbonnais continues to lead. The season finale here at the Vancouver Indy. There is your leader, Canadian Claude Bourbonnais, who took over from Mark Dismore when he crashed on lap 23.
Claude and Mark ran away from the rest of the field, and now Claude leads unthreatened by anyone. His teammate, however, Freddie Remrev, remains in second place, but a good distance back.
And speaking of Freddie Remrev, there he is. Oh, and he's got his hand up in the air. He's got a problem. He's lost all power. He simply rolls to a stop off the track.
He's pulled it off, and that will put Sandy Dells in car number 70 in second place.
Sandy Dells moves into second. What in the world has gone wrong with Freddie Remrev? We don't know, but his car he looks like he's finished third in place. That's Michael Buckingham, and he's being chased by Tom Hunter.
Sandy Dells comfortable in second place, but he really doesn't have any hope of catching the leader. Claude Bourbonnais there on his last lap now in car number 72.
Claude Bourbonnais in a very comfortable position. He and the rest of the entrants will look forward to another 7-race Canadian Championship in 1991 with bigger purses, larger grids, and more excitement from coast to coast.
Claude Bourbonnais will be a leading contender in the 1991 series. The Western and Eastern divisions will be amalgamated into a single championship. So Claude will be able to compete for the overall championship and try to win the Canadian Championship as well.
What a satisfying day this has to be for Bourbonnais at this point at least. He's still not home yet, but after all the frustration he's had all season, he finally looks as though he's in position to win a race.
And he got off to such a bad start. Starting on the front row, slipping to fourth. Bourbonnais, with no one around him now, will finish first here. He'll finish second in the Players Limited Cup, the Canadian Championship, and finish his season with a well-deserved victory.
And Sandy Dells will take second place today. He spent most of his day defending attacks from other people, so a great race from him, too. But an even better race from Claude Bourbonnais, just coming around the last corner here, and he will take the checkered flag. A great race from him. Freddie Remrev, his teammate, his car is out, mechanical problems, but there you go, the checkered flag for Claude Bourbonnais, the winner here in round 7 of the Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series. What a great day for him. And so a check of the final standings. Claude Bourbonnais, followed by Sandy Dells. Michael Buckingham held off Tommy Hunter Jr. for third place. And a look at the rest of the top 10. Not bad for Jovi Marcello there, despite some earlier problems in the race. And we check now the final standings for the Canadian Championship, and it is won by Frank Hours. An amazing Claude Bourbonnais finishes second with that win here this afternoon, and Christian Vandal, despite only running in 3 races, finishes 5th.
And there is an ecstatic Claude Bourbonnais, our winner today in Vancouver. Claude is also the winner of the Yokohama Yokomotion Award. He showed some incredible car control, like this move as he tried to pass number 20, Mark Dismore. He slides between both cars, manages to hang on to it, just barely avoiding hitting the wall. It was daring, it could have gone either way. Here's Jerry now with our winner, Claude Bourbonnais.
Well, it looked like the way to win this race was to stay away from everybody and let them hit the wall.
Yeah, well, I guess so, but I was having a lot of trouble out there. I was out of a first gear for the start. I started the race in second gear, and on about between the 5th and 10th lap, I lost 5th gear. And then after that, the engine was missing, so it was really hard for me to keep up with Dismore.
Look, for a while there, especially early in the race, that he was starting to pull away from you. Can you thank some of those accidents for what happened?
Oh, of course. You know, with the 1st and 5th gear missing, how can you catch somebody as fast as Mark, you know? I think I could have passed him and run away from him had I had my 1st and 5th gear, but I didn't have it.
Well, the way to win today's race was to simply stay out of trouble. Claude Bourbonnais did it. 3 of the top 4 starters didn't.
And as so often happens on a temporary road course, Jerry, the concrete walls made many of the decisions today.
Okay, and so that's it from Vancouver. For Paul Chater, this is Jerry Dobson saying so long from BC Place. The Players Limited Formula Atlantic Series is brought to you in part by Sunoco Gold and by Yokohama Performance Radio.
Thanks for watching this episode of From the Vault. And don't forget to check out cmhf.ca for up-to-date news about the Hall, how to induct someone, and be sure to check out the Hall's merchandise store. I'm Todd Lewis. Thanks for watching.
From the Vault is brought to you by M-Zone, premium auto care proudly owned and made by Canadians. By Recap Recovery Drink. By WeatherTech. For the perfect fit and ultimate in-vehicle protection, nothing protects like WeatherTech. Order online at weathertech.ca. And by the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame. Visit our website for Hall merchandise.